Hi, and welcome to That's So Nova. If it's your first time here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. Today we're going to be making the pattern called the Mysa Crossbody Bag from Bagstock. It is a level for advanced beginner, and I thought this would be a great bag to do a tutorial on because there's some really cool techniques. So let's get started. I'll have a link in the description where you can purchase the pattern. There's no affiliation link. All right, so after you do your interfacing, make sure that you follow the instructions for that. The interfacing has like certain cutouts, so that way you can reduce the bulk, like right through here. And just follow all the instructions. Most of the prep work is going to be on pages 1 through 6, but now we're going to start on 7. So we're going to get our zipper front pocket piece, and we're going to draw some measurements. The measurements are on step 1. Be sure to follow them. This is a really cool technique. I really love how this comes together, and you'll have a nice, clean zipper pocket. Okay, make sure you draw there's a 1/2 inch space where you need to draw some angles, and we're going to start doing that now. We're going to line up center from center. Always find your centers. It just makes your life so much easier. I'm going to get the center here. Okay. I'm going to get a few clips just to hold it in place. All right, and then we're going to sew our box that we just drew. You should reduce your stitches to I usually stitch at a 4, so I usually go 3.5 on my stitch length. But if I was like on my Bernina, I would probably go to a 2.5. Back stitch. And right when you get to that line that you drew, stop with the needle down, pivot, and go. If you have sewn Bagstock's patterns before, then you should be familiar with this pocket insertion style. It's very similar, like onto the Trailblazer. With the flap. I love that bag. Okay. Now you can go back to your regular stitch. Smaller stitches mean when you when you're going into pivoting, it's just less chance that the pocket is going to have any of these skip stitches and all that jazz. Now cut into the slit marks that you drew from the pocket pattern piece. We drew the measurements on page 7, step 3 and 4. Now we're going to slit into our front of our interior the cut lines that we drew, getting right to the corners but not cutting into your stitching. Then, if you're working with material that can't be ironed, I would recommend like seam rolling this with your thumbnails or a bind like a bone folder. But I have a little iron I'm going to use, and what I like to do is I like to really crease that inside first, and then go in and do the folds here. And this is water resistant canvas, so it can handle a little heat, not a whole lot, but just enough so that way I can get this next part without too much drama. And I'm just going to try to pull this little thread that wants to stay. And I'm doing like a really good press, not just the iron. Usually I would tell you to get your clapper here. I could not find my clapper, which is disturbing because it's my sewing room. No one else really sews in here, so I misplaced it again. And as you can see, I'm ironing down this facing, and I want it to be nice and tugged back where the lining is not going to be poking through in the front. And that's important to me, so that way you can't see it. It's really important to me. Now, if you have materials that you don't feel comfortable ironing, you could put some double-sided tape on here and roll it down, and that can help you too. I'm going to give it a little bit of steam. And hopefully this water-resistant canvas will stop being all finicky. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Okay. All right, I don't want to drop the iron. All right, so we have this. We're going to go grab, I'm going to go grab our zipper panel. I'm going to grab our zipper tape, and I'm going to singe the ends. I'm going to grab one of our zipper pulls, and let's go. We're going to line this up and use a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Sew it on right sides of the fabric touching the wrong sides of the zipper. Okay. And we want to iron this so it goes this way. So just bring it back to the ironing table. I'm using my little press mat. And I'm going to be very careful because I don't want to hit the plastic part of the waterproof canvas. So I'm going to iron from the woven side, so that way I don't have like plastic on my iron. That would not be beneficial. So it's like that. And then we're going to, I'm not putting my zipper pull on yet. I know it shows it on there. I like to wait. But now is the time to put it on there. I spoke too soon, okay? So it's going to go on like this. So the right sides are nice and neat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my zipper pull on. I like to open up the zipper, and I like to slide the zipper pull on there. I go and I look in the center. In the center of every zipper, there is a little center bar. I like to make sure both of them are matching up, the zipper feed on both sides. And then I just kind of push it in, and it comes on. And if it's kind of crooked like this one, I'll take it out and do it again. I have all the time in the world for this. I would be more mad if my zipper has that weird bubble that we all don't like. All right. Now you can use double-sided tape here. I'm going to use some 1/4 of an inch, just because it holds it in place where I am not able to. Okay. Center as best as you can. What you're trying to do is get this flushed with the other side. So you don't want the zipper tape above that little side piece. So as long as you have this flush, everything will be okay. All right, so we're going to go and we're going to sew 1/8 of an inch. Sorry, I'm trying to really get this to stick right. All right. All right, we got it. So we're going to go down, across, and go up and back stitch in the beginning and in at the end. One-eighth of an inch. Okay. All right, we're going to lace this down like this. We're going to go on page 10, and we're going to baste this zipper on. Just where the zipper tape, on the zipper tape. Okay. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just sew down the sides. I'm going to back stitch at the top, but not at the end. And you'll see why in just a moment. Okay. Okay, and then we're going to baste this down in place, and that will take care of closing up the pocket. Okay, and then we're going to trim this excess pocket off. That's no longer needed. And we have a perfect zipper pocket. So now we're going to add front side A to this. We're going to line everything up. Put some clips. Now when we get to the zipper section, where the zipper pull is, move the zipper pull once it gets in the way. We're going to go sew up with our a little less than 3/8 of an inch, a scant, not 1/4 of an inch, just a little less than 3/8. If it helps to draw, then I would definitely do that. Okay, I'm going to move the zipper pull with my needle down. All right. Okay. So we're gonna stitch up here, 1/8 of an inch. Seam allowance is tucked underneath this seam. So see, you have your nice, beautiful zipper. Nice, clean. Super sweet. All right, well, we're done with the first front panel. So we're going to start working on the lining. I'm going to grab one lining, my two lining pieces, and then we're going to grab the zipper pull, the zipper. And we're going to grab facing number H, letter H, and our two zipper panels. Okay. So again, the wrong side, I'm going to draw, looking for my ruler, that's right in front of me. I'm going to draw the lines that there's a diagram with there's a really good picture showing how to draw the pattern pieces. Not the pattern pieces, the lines for a zipper pocket as well, on page 12. And the figure is right underneath section 1. All right, so we have our facing. We're going to take our zipper pocket and we're going to sew it down, right sides of the pocket piece up, and our zipper facing up. So wrong sides touching of the zipper onto the right sides of the zipper pocket. 1/4 of an inch. We're going to do that again with the other side. Okay. Trim that. Okay, we're going to bring out our iron and we're going to iron these seams. We want the seams to be nice and flat. So I'm going to start one side. And again, I'm ironing from the woven side. If I did it on the plastic, I would have plastic all over this. You could go like that, but then again, you're running the risk. Oops, I'm all on my foot pedal. I need to not have my foot on the pedal. Let's see. Pressing this so that this can be nice and flat as possible. I'm going to just hit it one more time with seam. Okay. Put you away. And we have, it looks like on the second picture on the bottom page on page 12. Now we're going to do some measurements. And always, again, find your centers. And we're going to do some measuring down. Okay. Just making sure. And we're going to bring this over to the sewing machine. And we pull some thread. All right. And we're going to sew the box that we drew. I gotta rethread this. See, and just making sure everything still lines up. Yeah, have you ever just like measured everything and then you slightly move it and you're like, come on. You can reduce your stitches again if you wish. Sorry, I have a marker in my my belt. There we go. It sounds like normal. Okay. And we're going to cut with sharp scissors the corners without touching the stitching. That's hard. And now if you accidentally cut through the stitching, just go around it again using 1/8 of an inch. Okay, I'm going to grab my iron and ironing board again. And I'm going to, and if you don't, again, if you don't want to iron, you can finger press this, and this, you can get the same result. It's just, it's a little bit more work. So when the iron helps lock in the stitching too. It helps shrink the threads just a little bit to help lock in. Okay, I'm just going to bring it to the front and just give it a good press too. Okay. All right, so then we're now going to get our zipper pull and put your zipper on. You can have your zipper going to the left or the right. If there's no rule, I prefer to close my zippers to the left, but I have a daughter that loves having to all her zippers closed to the right. So it's all about personal preference and what works for you. And I'm going to put this on. Get some double-sided tape. And then we're going to remove the double-sided tape. Paper back, we're going to peel it away. And we're going to line this up as even as possible. I like to just focus on having my zipper teeth in the, like, right in the middle. Okay, that looks nice. And we're going to sew around here using 1/8 of an inch. Okay, and I like to start where the zipper teeth is on the side. And I am a person that, 1, I backstitch, and 2, I backstitch over the zipper teeth just because I know I'm a little harder on zipper pockets than normal. Oops. Okay. Okay. We're going to fold this down, and then we're just going to trim this to be even with the top part. So on page 15, we're going to put the panels 3/8 of an inch up. What I like to do, you don't have to do this, and I know this is a lot of double-sided tape, is I like to put double-sided tape on both pieces on the wrong side. If it's cotton, I would just iron it up, but this won't stay. I will fold this over. And I will do the same to the side. And now we'll sew this down. Back stitch the beginning and the end. Trim those threads. And we have our zippered pocket, all nice and clean. Now we're going to go get our slip pocket, put right sides together. Sew your 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. I like to top stitch. Now once you're top stitching, you can when you go down, instead of back stitching, bring it around and sew the panel pieces together using a 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, remove those. We're going to put this on here. And you can keep this one big slip pocket, or you could, if you wish, make a pin pocket, like where all your pins will go. So, let's see. I'm going to use a chalk pencil, and I'm going to use that as my line. So I'm going to start on this side, base this on using 1/4 of an inch, and always back stitch. When I get to the line that I started drawing, I'm going to go up it. I'm going to stop right below the top stitching I did, and I'm going to go forward, back, back, forward, and then stitch down. I just did a bar tack so that way that the pocket will be reinforced. Okay. So what you want to do is, if you're like me, trim off any excess stabilizers, and again, find your centers. And we're going to put that aside. And what we're going to do next is grab our exterior gusset, and we're going to find our centers first and foremost. Trim off any excess fleece that you have, or Decaville Light, whatever you used. If you have any excess, I always have excess, like no matter what I do. I'm going to find my centers. Okay, and we're going to start with putting together these side pockets. We're going to be using some pretty cool hardware, if I can find it. Let's see. I will be right back. Sorry about that. I totally ooh, I lost it. So I could not find it. I had to, like, you know how it's like the scissor thing, you have it right in front of you, but then bam, you can't. So on installing the connectors part on page 16, there's a measurement of how far you should go down. So what I like to do is I like to go across with my chalk pen with that measurement. Then I'll make a T by finding the center, which we clipped in, and that will be the marking that I'm going to be using. So we're going to be using these arch hooks. I guess they're called bridges that we're going to use to be our connectors. I'm going to take its washer and use it as a template of where I'm going to poke my holes. I'm using my Tandy pen on this one. I'm going to grab my hole punch, and I'm going to punch a hole of the places I marked. Do that swivel, because I don't know, my hole punches are never like sharp enough, so just gonna clean that out. Now what I do is I take my piece, and I'm going to take one screw, put it behind the washer, and have it kind of poke out like that. Then I'll put this bridge part on there, match up the hole, and I will use a screwdriver and gently screw it in, not all the way, until I get the other part on. You know what? Another thing I always goes missing with me are screws. They could be staring me dead in the face, and I'm like, what's happening? So don't screw the first one in all the way until you got the other one, the second one, to fit. That's really important, because the first time I was doing this, I was like, they're not fitting. They're not lining up. And it's because you have to give it some time. Make sure it's on right, and then you're going to screw them both in tight. All right. Then that's it. You're done. You have both washers on. No, both bridges on, and you're ready to go for the next part. It's really simple. Once you do it, you're just like, yay! All right, so we're going to now take, you could put electrical tape, duct tape, whatever you want. I use electrical tape because it sticks better than duct tape for me. I don't know. It's like I always get duct tape that just doesn't really stick. I don't know why. So I just put this on the back so it won't rub against hardware, and I just crease the around the washer so that way it can really stick in there. All right. We have that. So now we're going to start constructing the bag together. So I'm going to take the front, and again, finding your centers on the top and the bottom help tremendously. And we get a lot of clips, trim those, and then I'm going to go get the other panel, trim off any excess stabilizer, okay, centers on this as well. All right. So we need to match the 3/8 of an inch seam allowance that we need to draw, just like a little line on each of the gusset pieces. Drawing those now in. All right. All right. So we're going to match the 3/8 of an inch seam allowance mark to the line, to the gusset, to the front. I know it seems weird. So we have a 3/8 of an inch mark, and we need to line the front panel to that line, and then we clip. I'm getting, sorry, some clips, and I almost forgot again to put my my name tag. I am like notorious for not putting my name tags on stuff, and then people are like, is that your work, or is this? And I'm like, oh yeah, I totally forgot. I'm just going to put it on the side. I'm just going to go around real quick. I like putting name tags on the side. I don't know why. It's a new thing for me. All right, name tags on, and then my scissors. All right, sorry about that. So we're going to match our 3/8 inch seam allowance that we put on our gusset piece, and we're going to match it and then clip and do that on the other side as well. I'm going to match our bottom. And because you're using not really heavy interfacing, this should be like the perfect gusset for you. Okay. And I'm gonna, if your gusset's kind of tight, you can snip in to the curves, and that might be able to help you as well. So just do like 1/4 of an inch. Do that on this side too. Sorry, I'm like banging everything. All right. So we're going to sew 3/8 of an inch. And you can draw, because there is a little bit of a gap. You can draw if you want. Or you can, last time I clipped this, but you can draw your 3/8 of an inch. I'll show you what I did last time. So I had it in line like this, and this is what I did. I don't know if it's the right thing, but I couldn't gauge the 3/8 of an inch, so I just clipped that angle, and it just made it easier for me. Or you could draw the 3/8 of an inch as well. And we're going to do 3/8 of an inch all the way around. And you can use a stiletto if that's easier for you to help navigating the fabric. And there was clips flying. It would be like, how could you reach Nova's tutorials? Yeah, she always has clips flying, so I feel like her tutorials are realistic. All right. We're going to do that to the other side. And I move the lining so it doesn't fly off. And more clips flying. I love the shape of this bag. Eighths of an inch. All right. So we're going to trim the seam allowance down a little bit. And drop more clips because that's how I roll. I leave a little bit of the wing so that way I can spread out the bulk a little bit easier when we're top stitching. Okay, and then now let's work on the lining. Grab this. Centers. Okay, we're going to draw those marks again. If I can find my ruler. All right. This one goes a little bit different. We're going to start off at 3/8 of an inch, and then we're going to go to a 1/2 inch. Okay. I know it doesn't say that, and it was the old, because I was like stuck. I was like, okay, I can't see 3/8 of an inch, and I'm like, was struggling, so I just decided to trim it to where it naturally goes into the curve, and it worked. And if you're working with waterproof canvas, like I am, it may help just to do the curves, snip into them anyway, so that way they can lay a little bit flatter and you won't have any like bumps. All right, so starting out at 3/8 of an inch and then progressing down to a 1/2 inch. Okay, and I'm going to keep the little wings. I'm just going to trim this up real quick. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing on this side. See how I'm just like waiting till I'm not trimming the whole thing. I'm just trimming where it naturally is starting to go into the curves. So that way I can see exactly 3/8 of an inch. And you can trim, not trim, but do snips inside the gusset. So that way your lining fabric can lay a little nicer. Starting at 3/8 of an inch and then progressively increase the seam to a 1/2 inch. Make sure you hold your threads because I sure didn't, so I have to rethread. I always do that, like at least like 4 times while I'm making a bag. I don't know why. Let's see. Okay, and let me trim. All right, so now that we have put our gussets on, we need to start getting our zipper repaired. You have your 16-inch zipper. Make sure you singe those ends really well. And you're going to fold back. You're going to fold back your zippers. And I use pins, and then I just sew back and forth, or you can hand stitch back and forth, but you have now your zipper. And so we're going to make sure that you made your 90-degree mark, sewed it, and we're going to now turn our exterior bag, part of the bag, right sides out. And we're going to start making some marks. And this is a good time to, you know, look at your exterior. Did you get everything? There's no puckers. Is there, everything got caught. Have you ever just like thought you got everything caught and then like this one little area didn't get caught? I think that happens to me a lot. This is such a cute bag. All right. So I'm going to see our centers again. And we're going to be making some marks. From this area, we need to make some marks that apparently my double-sided tape wants to stick to me right now from the seam allowance. So let's draw the marks on all sides. Okay. Now we're going to take our bag and we're going to line up the first mark that we made, and having the zipper is going to be closing to the left, so I'm putting everything to the left. And we're going to clip. Now you can use, if you have 1/8 of an inch double-sided tape, you could definitely use that here. It'll help. I'm definitely putting clips on the areas that I'm butterflying open. We're going to veer off naturally at the mark towards the end of the tail. So we're going to base this on using a scant 3/8 of an inch. Take your time. I know it could be like, okay, this is a very odd-shaped bag, but it could be done on a flatbed. I'm doing it on a flatbed. If you want to do a free arm, you could put like a block if you have a domestic machine and make your sewing machine kind of like a free arm. Just shift and move, and as you're moving and shifting, make sure your needle's down so that way your seam stays as good as it possibly can get. Okay, we're getting to that area where we're going to start veering off soon. All right. Calm down. And I'm just going to go in here to help relieve bulk and trim those little butterflies that I opened up so that way it can not be super bulky. You trim those threads. And we're going to do this on the other side, but kind of in reverse. So we're going to put your clips or your double-sided tape. And we're going to clip it. Open up the seam allowance. Clip. And that's where we're going to veer off, but that's also where we're going to start. So I kind of smushed my bag. I'm going to be honest, I smushed this bag so hard and we're going to start sewing. So I'm going to start sewing like I'm sewing a scant 3/8 of an inch where the veer off area is and go from there. All right. Whoop, whoop. We did the hardest part. Now we're going to start lining this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick my zipper tape through the bridge connectors. This is not my trick. Someone did it in the testing group and I'm using it. And I'm just to make sure it doesn't move anymore, I'm going to also put a clip right there. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the lining, make sure your zipper pocket is open. And just put your zipper, if you want it towards the back, towards the front, however you want it. I prefer to have my zippers in the back. That's just me. It's all about personal preferences. So, we are going to start lining up stuff. I like to do all the 4 areas, match them. Do the same thing here. Then I go around and I open up any seams. Open up any seams. And we're doing something over here. And then just clip as much as you want or as few as you want. It's really your discretion. Now we're going to take this back to the machine and we're going to go sew 3/8 of an inch all the way around. Back stitch well. Take your time. All right. So I just go around and make sure everything got caught up. Because if it didn't, then you have to unbirth it, rebirth it. So just make sure everything got caught as best as can be possible. And then we're going to birth this bag. Accidentally sewed a little bit of my pocket on, but I was able to snip it. So it's not, because we're using, if you use fleece, it's a little lighter. If you do Decabelle, it might be a little bit stiffer, but you got this. Just have the pocket open. And I'm trying to get the exterior out. Okay. All right, and I'm just gonna tuck the lining in. And going to clip each seam. If your seam is too thick, you can use a pair of like pliers to kind of smush it down. Or I like needle nose pliers. I usually get them in the jewelry section at Joann's or whatever, and they work really well on seams. They don't rip the fabric. That's the most important part. Not to rip the precious fabric, right? Because we did all this hard work. So okay. I have also plastic here. And I'm gently tugging on the zipper because the zipper naturally wants to roll in on itself. That came out really good. All right. Okay. So here is the part that is, you could turn this inside out and you could top stitch, or you could trust your bobbin. This, or you can top stitch going around like this. This is what the method I'm going to do. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check my bobbin. Because if, oh, I haven't more than enough. Perfect. Always check your bobbin. Don't like start top stitching and then like your bobbin goes out and you're like, no, bobbin chicken yet again. All right, I'm going to start in the corner and I'm going to smush. You see me smushing. I can shape the bag later, and I'll give you some tips on how I like to shape it and what tools I use. And I'm going to put it in my back stitch in a seam. And I'm going to gently tug the zipper tape as I stitch 1/8 of an inch. Ooh, that did not like coming off. And then, where is my, there you are, my little stiletto thing. Take your time, breathe, breathe. You totally got this, though. Take your time. I know it seems like a long time because it's such a small opening, but you're shifting around a lot, so you're going to want to make sure that you have your needle down position and singe those ends, and that is really important. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go inside the pocket and I'm going to roll my seams out and kind of shake them a little bit. Okay, you can do the same on this side. You also could use a seam roller or bring this to your ironing board, your choice. I'm just letting them know that they need to go back to their original shape. I know I squished them. And then we're going to close up the lining. Just going to tuck that in. Using a 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Back stitch in the beginning and the end. Have a thread, tuck in the pocket. That's always the hardest part for me, getting that pocket all the way in. I don't know why. Zip it up. All right, we're going to put our zipper pull now on here. Again, I match the thread. I'm going to thread the coils in, look to see they're both at the center of the bar, and then I'll push down. Oh, this is so cute. All right, the zippers are a little bit off. Hold on. And don't be afraid to pull and unpull your zipper pulls. It's fine. Practice makes progression, right? Oops. Perfect. Look at how beautiful that is. All right, so now we're going to put the last piece. We're going to put a some hardware to close up the zipper. I promise I had it. Okay, I'm just batting 1,000. Okay. Let's see if I have an extra one. Sometimes I do, because I know I'm notorious for losing things. It's just my way. Let's see. Okay. So what I usually do, I'm going to walk you through and break some clips along the way, is what I usually do is I take some double-sided tape I take 2 small pieces and I'll show you. And I put one in the middle of the bag, and then I just fold one side over. Then I take another piece and I'm going to fold that side over. And the double-sided tape helps keep everything in line. And then I would guide the hardware on and put the screw on, but my hardware is missing. I apologize for that. And then you would need to put your strap. I wanted, because I thought this bag was so cute, to have really cute hardware. And I'm going to do a metal chain. Look at how cute this is. This is a really adorable bag. You have a beautiful zipper pocket in the front to put your cell phone in. You have a nice open bag. A nice open bag. So that the lining is nice and taut because we did that extra seam allowance. We have a zipper pocket. We have a slip pocket and like a pen pocket or a lip gloss. And that's it. You have a beautiful bag. So I'm going to put the link to the bag pattern for Bagstock where you can get it, no affiliation. And if you have any questions on any materials that I used, the machine I used was the Juki 1541S. I used 70 weight thread. My clips are from Lauren Mormino I purchased. Cork colors is in Destiny and Jade, which are from So Sweetness, and Tulip Pink fabric. These beautiful little silver with purple I got from Zorel. So if you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. If you were like, hey Shnova, this was a great tutorial, you really walked me through it, I want to buy you a cup of coffee. I have my Kofi link in the description as well. If you're like, hey Shnova, I love the way you sew, and I know that you have a private group on Patreon and you guys sew a project each month, can I know more about it? I'll have information for the Patreon as well. So I hope everyone has a fantastic day. Stay safe and happy sewing. Bye.